Hi, I'm Larry Richardson, your step-by-step chef. In this episode of our continuing series on cooking with plant-based meat, we are going to make a delicious chili using plant-based beef and sausage. I think you're really going to like this one. It also has some beans in it for a little bit of other protein and a lot of the other ingredients that you would normally find in a chili. Now, I have a couple of recipes on stepbystepchef.com to make chilies with animal-based meats, and that's fine if that's what you want. But what we're doing with this series is we're trying to find ways to substitute plant-based meat as much as we can. It's good for the environment. It takes a lot more energy to make animal-based proteins, and you also, you just have a lot of other issues involved in that, and transportation and the use of fossil fuels, which releases greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, and the planet warms up. So we're trying to contribute to bringing the release of greenhouse gases under control by adding more plant-based meats, more plant-based proteins into our diet. So let me show you how this is actually a very tasty quest too, and it's really healthy for us too. So come on, let's cook. And here are the ingredients for our plant-based ground beef and sausage chili. First of all, I have tested a number of different versions of sausage, and this Impossible sausage is the one I like the most right now, and it's very easy to work with, very tasty. I don't notice the difference in taste or texture between this and real sausage, real animal sauce-based sausage. We're also going to, and this is about a cup that we're going to use. We're going to use about a cup of this plant-based ground beef. I really enjoy this one. And I haven't really tried a lot of different plant-based ground beef crumbles, but this one's very good. So I'm also going to use this in a meat sauce, spaghetti meat sauce, that I will post on stepbystepchef.com. I also have 2 cans of crushed tomatoes. I like the crushed tomatoes because they have a little bit more of a presence in a chili. I have 1 can of small red beans. You can also use kidney beans if you want. We'll use a teaspoon of black pepper. We'll use Tabasco if necessary. After the chili is all made, if we want it a little bit hotter, we'll add Tabasco to taste. And just be a little judicious with that. If you add too much of that, you won't be able to eat the chili because you will be on fire. So add it gradually. You can even just add it at the table. Make it available at the table if you want. I'm going to use 3 tablespoons of chili powder. And this is to taste, so you might want to add a little bit more than I do. That's totally up to you. I have 3/4 of a sweet red pepper. That will dice out to about a cup of sweet red pepper. I have a medium sweet onion. You can use yellow, white, you name it. It's up to you. And the same with the pepper. You might want to use a green bell pepper. And we're going to dice that. Then I have a jalapeno, and that might be where the heat comes from, so I don't need the Tabasco. But I'm going to rinse off that jalapeno, take the core out, and finely mince that to get some heat out of it. And then finally, I have a teaspoon of butter that we're going to use to saute the vegetables and brown up this beef a little bit. Now, some people are going to say, well, that butter, that's not plant-based. Well, no, it isn't. But my point in this series isn't necessarily for people to go vegan, although I respect that, or vegetarian. Hey, I respect that too. But my point is, let's substitute plant-based meat wherever possible in our recipes so that we can give the planet a break and maybe be a little bit healthier. So let me show you how to put all this together. And the first thing I did is I opened up the cans of crushed tomatoes and just put them both in this pan. And I'm going to put it over medium heat, let it start warming up. Because after I get the other ingredients done, we're just going to stir those in, warm it up, get it to the right temperature for serving, and it's ready to serve. That's why we are sauteing the vegetables ahead of time, because it just kind of speeds up the process a little bit. So there's our chili powder. Add that, get that flavor mixed into the tomato sauce. Next up comes our black pepper. Just adds a little zing. I like a nice complex chili, but not overdone, not with any weird ingredients. You're not going to find pineapple in this. Okay, no, we won't do that. But just stir it in, get it nice and uniform. It already smells like chili sauce because of the tomatoes. And then cover this because the as it warms up, the crushed tomatoes may start to splatter. So just cover this, leave it, let it warm up while we prepare the other ingredients. Okay, so all of these veggies have been rinsed off. Here's our jalapeno. I'm wearing the glove just so I don't get the heat of the jalapeno on my fingers and then touch my eyes. Because if I'm crying during the outro for this how to make plant-based chili recipe, if I'm crying, then people are less likely to make it. That's what I find. I've done some research. So I'm just covering up my hands, and I'll take the glove off after I'm done mincing the jalapeno. So I'm taking the core out. Then I'm just going to rinse these seeds out. And just cut it lengthwise. Ooh, this is, whoa. This is going to be a hot jalapeno. I think that Tabasco is going back in the fridge. It is absolutely already, whoa, taking my breath away. That is going to be hot. Okay, so this is just like a dicing. And you don't have to be too precise with it. Now, if you don't like heat in your chili, why are you eating chili? No, just kidding. If you don't like heat in your chili, then you don't have to add this. And you don't have to add any Tabasco. The chili powder is going to have a little heat to it, but, you know, if you don't really like a lot of heat, then you don't have to add this. I always say jalapeno optional. Unless you're making jalapeno poppers, then you have to have jalapenos. It would just be cheese. Here is our red pepper. It did star in another step-by-step chef edition recently, so that's why it's looking a little worked over. But this will give us our cup of diced red pepper. So you can see I cored it. I'm going to remove these seeds. And then just cut into strips and do the same thing we did with the jalapeno. Again, you don't have to go too fine with it. This isn't minced, it's diced. A little bit bigger squares. And I like to be able to taste these in my chili. I don't like them to just vanish into the sauce. Gives it nice texture, gives it nice taste. I mean, sometimes I'll make it so that the peppers even have a little bit of a crunch left in them in the chili, which makes it extra fresh. But that's not necessary today. So you can see how easy this prep work is. It's going to be the same when we do a plant-based meat sauce, which is coming up. It'll be on the site. It may already be on the site. In fact, by the time you see this, it may have been on the site for like 50 years. Now that's wild. That's a wild thought to me. Oh my God, I'll be almost 110. Wow. I hope I'm still eating this chili at 110. I think I could be. Okay, so now we're going to take the onion. It's going to cut the ends off. Peel it. Let's get that skin off of there, that outer skin. Don't want that in your chili. Yes, it is a plant-based ingredient, but it's not pleasant. You don't want people to have to chew on onion skin. Ugh. So I'm just taking that off. And you might have to go in a layer or two if the onion's a little bit soft on the outside. No biggie. Okay, and then what we're going to do is cut the top and make this about 1/4 to 1/2 inch. I guess that's 1/3 of an inch wide. So I'm just cutting it way down into the onion because we're going to use the whole thing, and then go perpendicular with those, forming little squares on the top. And then all we do is we cut down the face, and that gives us our diced onion. And again, you can go big or small with this. It's up to you. I like the presence. I like to know that these veggies are in there. I like to taste them. Sometimes you might want to just mince them up if you want them to vanish into the recipe. And then just make sure that if you have these little strips that remained, give them a little chop. But otherwise, that's it. That's our onion. And I'll probably cut up the remainder of that onion, but I'm not going to make you sit around and watch that. you get the gist. Okay, so there's our onion. Okay, now I have my red beans. Again, you can use kidney beans if you want. You can use more beans, less beans, no beans at all. It's up to you. And what I like to do is take some of the beans, maybe about half of the beans, and smush them up. And what this does is it adds a thickness to the chili. So you'll have some that are just the beans traveling around, and some of it will be converted into kind of this starchy thickener for the chili. So I just do this, just go through. And you can see, it's smushing it up. You can see the white that's inside the beans. And this is just going to go right into the sauce like this. And then I do have whole beans on the other half. And I do this with the regular kidney beans too. But that's pretty much it. Okay. That's this part of the prep work. I'm going to meet you over at the stove. Now here's our chili sauce. It's kind of sputtery. So when you take the cover off, be careful. Use this cover as kind of a shield, because if it's sputtering, you don't want this hot sauce to get onto you. And get your spoon in there and give it a stir. You might have to add a little bit of water if it really gets going, or turn the heat down. Just anything. You don't want this boiling, and you don't even really want a strong, fast simmer. But I'm stirring in the beans with the broken beans that will add a thickness to it. And I'm pretty satisfied. So now I'm going to meet you over at the frying pan, and we'll make the other ingredients. And this pan has been preheated at just under quarter heat. Adding the butter. Coat the bottom of the pan. This is for sauteing and for browning our plant-based meat. And let's add our veggies. We'll saute them first in this frying pan. And again, I just want a light saute. I don't want these veggies to be completely limp. This is just going to save us some time. I know a lot of people who use slow cookers. They'll just throw this right in to the sauce and have it slow cook all day. Well, I'm not doing that this time because I want this to cook fast. And again, I don't want the meat, the plant-based meat, to sit in that sauce all day. Because I just think that a lot of the flavor will leach away from it. So I will add that, heat up the sauce again, and then the chili will be ready to serve. So this is a quick chili. But we're just going to saute these vegetables. It'll take about 3 to 5 minutes, so I'll be right back. And here we are 5 minutes later. The onions are just starting to turn translucent. Again, you don't want the veggies to be completely limp, but you don't want them to be raw either, so they have to be in that mid-range. This is ready to go in our chili mix. And again, take the cover off carefully. You don't want to get burned by the sauce. You also don't want to clean it up out of your house and your clothing. So try to give it, give it the respect it deserves. So there we go. Just going to stir these veggies into it. That's going to be a tasty chili. It's going to be very hearty. A very hearty plant-based chili. Let's get that cover back on before I get splattered. There we go. Yeah, again, you can turn the temperature down, and you can even add a little bit of water if it's getting too thick. It's getting too thick for you. So now I'm going to come over and prepare the meat. Always read the instructions on the plant-based meat that you're using. They're all a little bit different. They'll tell you how they can handle heat, how long to brown them. That's the sausage we're going to brown up. And again, this sausage tastes really good. So I really don't think you're going to notice a huge difference between this plant-based sausage and animal-based sausage. It's very good, very tasty. And then I'll add our crumble, and we'll brown that up too, our beef crumble. You can see it looks just like beef, but it's made out of plant protein. And one thing I want you to keep in mind is that this doesn't count as a salad. These are plant proteins. They're made with soy and beans and legumes and chickpeas and a bunch of different stuff like that. So you have to eat regular veggies when you're having this. This is more of a protein. This is more of a meat. kind of protein than it is a veggie like a salad. So I'm just going to brown this up. And once it's browned, it can go right into that chili. Going to stir it in, heat it up to serving temperature, and that's plenty for me. This doesn't require, these plant-based meats don't require as much time cooking as regular meat does. Now you can see I should have defrosted this chunk of the beef, but it should defrost pretty fast. But you can use these plant-based proteins right from frozen. They warm up very fast and they brown very fast. So again, it's not exactly like you're working with meat. The rules are a little bit different, and you'll get used to it. I've been doing this for a few months now, and I really enjoy it. I really enjoy these plant-based proteins. I feel lighter eating them, and what I've been doing is I've been using them in breakfast dishes and lunch dishes where sometimes I would have meat. You know, I'd have like leftover chicken, leftover meatloaf, leftover hamburgers, leftover spaghetti meat sauce, leftover chili. I'm substituting this plant-based protein, this plant-based meat for my breakfast and lunch, and it's just working for me. I really do enjoy it. And then I do have like a regular meat dish at dinner time. I do that primarily because I need the B vitamins. I need the balanced nutrition that you get out of some meat in your diet. I just didn't eat as much meat as I was eating. And vegans and vegetarians can tell you how to go even more hardcore than I am. I'm just not there. I'm not there yet. Maybe I will be one day. I don't know. But these are helping me to bridge the gap and lessen the amount of meat I use. So it's going to take me probably about another 3 minutes to brown up the bulk of this meat, except for this weird piece. I'm going to have to figure that one out. And I'm going to add that into the chili. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I took the frozen chunk and I put it in my microwave just to dissolve it quickly, to defrost it. So there it is. It's working right into this dish. So again, I'm just browning it real quick, according to the instructions on the package. And then it's going right into the chili. Now look at this. You can't really tell the difference between this and animal-based meat, can you? This is just, these plant-based meats have become incredible. And they weren't always like this. A long time ago, when someone said, hey, want a veggie burger or some kind of plant-based protein burger? Ugh, I didn't really like any of them. But they've really come a long way. And they keep introducing more and more tasty items. You just have to check your freezer area at your local grocer. Okay, so that's browned. It's going right into the chili. So congratulations, look at what you just did. You just made this delicious chili with plant-based meats. Can you believe it? Now, you can add additional chili powder if you want. You can add some salt. You can add pretty much anything you want to make this to your taste. I did not have to add that Tabasco to this. Those jalapenos and the chili powder were plenty spicy, but you can add that at the table. You can even put cheese on it if you want. Because again, our point isn't not to eat animal proteins at all, is to cut back on them. And this is one way to do it. This chili is one way to do it. And I'm going to have a bunch of other recipes on stepbystepchef.com that will show you how to make some other fantastic dishes. The other thing you will find at stepbystepchef.com is free printable recipes for this recipe and over 275 other recipes. And that's not all. The other thing you're going to find is links to 275 plus videos featuring your best friend. That's right, the Step-by-Step Chef. I will show you how to make those dishes step by step, and I think you'll like them. So I hope you will check out the site. So again, my name is Larry Richardson. I am your Step-by-Step Chef, and I'll see you in the next episode.